right. Now a little Devar Torah, not about Purim, but about our week's Torah portion. Most people who tell me that they have a Torah portion from the book of Leviticus for their bar bat mitzvah, tell me if I'm accurate, tell me they wish they had anything but. The contents of the book of Leviticus, which we begin reading this Shabbat, are many laws and descriptions of rituals carried out by and promoted by the Levites, the priestly class, hence Leviticus. There are laws about animal sacrifice, skin disease, and the nebulous notion of purity and impurity. A broad universal message is sometimes harder to find in these chapters of Torah. Only referring to this book as the book of Leviticus gets it wrong, however. The Greeks, whose culture and governance the rabbinic Jews lived among for centuries, dubbed this Hebrew text Leviticon to bring the priestly class into the center. But in Hebrew, we refer to the book as Vayikra, which is one of the first words of that book. The word Vayikra, in fact, has nothing to do with priests or any of the temple rituals. Vayikra means to call, as in God called to Moses, which is the very first sentence of that book. I tend to believe that all translation is interpretation, which is why I'm skeptical of adopting the reigning Greek interpretation of our sacred text. The original Hebrew word for this book, Vayikra, starts the book off in quite a different way and leads to a message, I believe, that is far more relevant. I interpret God's call to Moses as a gong, an alert that focuses his mind from its distraction in order to achieve a centeredness, a mindfulness, before listening to God's speech to him. For a moment, at least, it doesn't matter that Moses is going to receive all of these instructions that will be begrudgingly interpreted by rabbis and bat mitzvah students for generations. For a moment, there's only the call, the trilling of the ringtone, the resonance of the gong, the deep intentional breath, Vayikra. That type of awareness is so difficult to manifest regardless of how easy it might seem. In our times, most of us are beholden to our phones, constantly pinging us and dinging us and ringing us with instructions, demands, and information. So much so that the ringtone, the notification itself, is obscured or even silenced, so that when we unwrap the data and the messages, it's like drinking from a fire hose. So next time someone's phone goes off around you, maybe it's happened tonight, don't think they didn't silence their phones judgmentally, but rather, that's a call. It's a call. Probably from a robocaller, but nonetheless, it's a call. Vayikra, it's a call. This world is busy and crazy and it's fast, but there is a ringtone to acknowledge, a call to say yes before you answer it. Rashi, the 11th century French Torah commentator, read the call at the start of Leviticus as affection, or in Hebrew, lashon chiva. He said that the call before God's speech to Moses was an affectionate way of preparing him for all it was that he was about to receive. And he was about to receive a lot. The call is a prelude to sacred information. I want to share a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist monk and activist who talks about that very first moment in prayer before the prayer itself begins. He writes, "The one who prays should be truly there, established in the here and now. If the one who prays can put themselves in that situation, much has already been done. That person has already begun to generate energy because they are truly in the here and now with concentration, with mindfulness and intention." And here's the part that I bolded. If that does not happen, well, nothing will happen. This Shabbat, we're in a waiting period between the fast of Esther, which was observed yesterday, and the beginning of the Purim celebrations, which we've basically started tonight, but really begin tomorrow night, this whole month, really. And we stand here in our colors and our flair, ready to unfold the wisdom of the Purim story and the way we retell it. Let this be a call. Ring, ring. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.